Hi, Laura G here. Just thought I'd take a few minutes to say hi and let you know that I'm in court today. The bankruptcy court is in Toronto, even though the majority of our files are in the Hamilton and Niagara area. We are required to use a courthouse in Toronto. So today's hearings are for bankruptcy discharges. So the reason why we're here, there's a couple reasons why somebody has to go to court in Toronto for a discharge hearing. One of the reasons is that bankrupt didn't do their duties. Duties could be things like they didn't do their counseling sessions. There are 2 that are required to be done within very specific time frames. They didn't give their monthly income and expense reports, or there may have been some conduct issues prior to coming into bankruptcy, or they didn't attend an examination by the official receiver. That doesn't happen very often as far as the examinations go, but when the official receiver does request that you attend, you must attend. Another reason is for a discharge hearing is that a debtor has a significant income tax debt. And when I say significant, we're looking at over $200,000. And if that debt represents more than 80% of the amounts owing to the creditors. So those are the basic reasons. Other reasons a creditor could oppose, or the official receiver, which is the government. The Industry Canada has what they call the Office of the Superintendent of Bankruptcy, and the official receiver is the person or people who accept the documents submitted by trustees. So today's hearings, we have a number of different ones, but the majority of them are because people didn't do what they were supposed to. And they still haven't done them in most cases. So in those cases, the court could order that the discharge hearing be adjourned without setting a date, meaning once all the documents are done, then we can go back to court, whether it be a hearing or what we call in chambers, or they could refuse the discharge, which is an extreme situation. But if the debtor doesn't show up and the trustee is opposed, typically the court will order in what was called a no order, which means that the trustee can go ahead and close its file. If you remain undischarged and the trustee closes their file, the creditor's rights are revived and they can come back after you for the amounts owing. So it's so important to get your discharge and do what the trustee says, because we don't want to be here. We want to see you succeed. We want to see you get out of bankruptcy. A discharge is what says you are no longer responsible to pay any of the debts owing that were at the date of bankruptcy. There are some exceptions, and that'll be a topic for another blog post. But if you're really keen and want to look it up, it's very dry reading, but you can look up Section 178 of the Bankruptcy and Insolvency Act, and I'll give you a link for that information. But for the most part, come in, get your stuff done, and we can help you get on your way. We don't want to be here just as much as you do. With hearings, what usually happens is there's a list. We could be number 1 on the list, we could be number 40 on the list. The longest list that I've been on, not my files, all of them, but there were 72 matters, and that was an exceptional day, and it took all day to get it done. And you have to wait until your name is called. So typically though, the court is very good at dealing with the matters fairly quickly. If you have a hearing date, please make sure you're early if possible so that we can get matters resolved. And because if your matter is heard and then you're not there, it's possible that the registrar could bring the matter back that same day, but for the most part, once the order is signed, it is a binding order. So please make sure a few things. 1, you do what you're supposed to when you're supposed to during the file. If something happens, we can fix the issues, but you do need to be timely on getting things done. 2, don't avoid what the trustee says to do. If you have concerns or questions, definitely talk to your trustee, because we can help you get through the situations. So we're here in Toronto. don't like having to travel all this way, but it is what it is. And we'll talk to you later. Take care. Bye.